So hello, everyone. So thanks for joining the session. My name is Vinod, and I work as a solution consultant with Synthetix. So before starting, I would like to introduce my team. So I have got Omilade with me, and Omilade is our technical consultant. And I have also got Janine with me. Janine is our marketing lead, and yeah, she will be acting as a moderator in the backend. So we can start with the session. So in this session, I will explain how your accounts payable process can be automated. And towards the end of the session, you will be able to realize the ROI of accounts payable automation. So we'll start with the agenda. To start with, I will present you the overview. Here, I will be explaining the need for accounts payable automation. Then I will move on to the current issues. That's basically the bottlenecks that are there in the existing manual accounts payable process. Then I will move ahead to the solution where I will explain how CombiHybrid, that's our solution offering, can automate your accounts payable process. Then I will move on to the solution demonstration, and after which I will explain to you the key benefits of integrating CombiHybrid to your system. Then we will move on to the Q&A session. So here I'll be answering all your questions. So during the course of the session, if at all you're having any questions, yeah, just post them through the chat window, and I'll be answering almost all the questions in the end. So if at all I'm not able to answer any questions, yeah, obviously I will send you an email response. So in the overview here, I will start with a report by Gartner, and for reference, the report is basically the market guide for accounts payable invoice automation solution, and it was published on the 19th of July 2021. So in the report, it's mentioned that the accounts payable invoice automation market is quickly evolving as government regulations push the organizations to digitize. So what does it signify? In simple words, I would say that there's a growing demand for automation across different industry domains and sectors, and even processes. And it's applicable to accounts payable as well. So adopting new technology trend, as per my opinion, it's no longer an option or a choice. It's an absolute necessity. So especially if you're from the accounts payable team, you might be aware of the disruptions that happened to your business during the past 1 or 2 years, right? So you were not able to go to your office, and you were not able to, fetch the invoices from your mailbox, and you were not able to, physically file it and send it to your manager for approval. So things were not same for those organizations whose accounts payable process was automated. So they were able to sit at home in front of a laptop with an internet connection, and they were able to, process their invoices on time. So unforeseen events like what we are experiencing or what we have experienced, that can happen in the future also. And that's why most businesses are moving towards automation, and things are not different for, accounts payable process as well. So if you go for automation, obviously you will be having concerns regarding, the ROI, right? So for automating a process like accounts payable, you need to consider the benefits to start with. Just to highlight some of the benefits, like there will be an enhanced operational efficiency, your processing time will be reduced, and you'll be using less manpower, and there will be a huge reduction in the probability of the occurrence of an error, right? So all these factors constitutes towards a single thing, that is the fast and definite ROI. So in the following slides, I will explain how your accounts payable process can be automated using our solution, and you'll be able to realize the fast and definite ROI. Now I will give you a walkthrough. It's basically regarding the bottlenecks that are there in the existing manual accounts payable process. So in your accounts payable process, you'll be dealing with multiple suppliers, right? And you'll be getting invoices in different format from multiple suppliers. So like some invoices will be in a machine readable format, and the remaining will be in a human readable format. And some invoices can be even like a single sentence in an email, right? So the question is, how are you gonna enter all these details to your ERP? Obviously, the answer is manual data entry. you'll be deploying a couple of your team members from your accounts payable department, and they will be manually entering the data. So what happens, or what will you do if you're receiving invoice in a machine readable format? How do you process it? That's a big question, right? And what if you're dealing with high volumes of invoices? You won't be able to process the invoices on time, right? It's a quite tedious and a time-consuming task to manually enter all the details to your ERP. Also, your accounts payable team goes through both internal and external audit, right? So the auditing team will ask for all sort of data. So what's your DPO, and how many invoices that you have processed per month, and how many duplicate entries you made, how many duplicate payments you have done. So all this data will be available, but it will be siloed elsewhere. So you need to extract the data and present it in front of the auditing team in a presentable format. So real-time access to data is not available. Now, regulatory compliance. So every day you'll be facing some regulatory issues or regulatory norms from either from your supplier or from your end customer, or even you'll be having some internal compliance, right, that you need to follow. It can be like the incoming invoice need to be in a particular format, or the layout of the incoming invoice needs to be changed, or the invoice needs to be stored in a particular format, maybe a Edifact or UBIL or whatever be it, in your database or whatever be it. So in order to meet these compliances, you need to automate your solution. So duplicate payments, it's in some way related to the second point, that is manually entering data to the ERP. So when you manually enter the data, chances are that you can make duplicate entries, right? Then you'll be having, you need to make duplicate payments, and you need to initiate a reimbursement process, which is quite tedious. So here, the supplier won't be having a real-time visibility on the invoices that they have sent from their end, right? So in order to track the status of the invoices, they either need to call up the customer, or send different or multiple emails. Then only they will get to know the status. So transparency is not there. Now, document approval. So different organizations will be having different AP process, right? So for some organization, they will immediately release the payment after reconciliation. And for some organization, the incoming invoice need to go through multiple approval and signature process. Then only they'll be releasing the payment. So when you're manually operating, or when you're manually operating your accounts payable process, what happens is that the executive need to take the print out of the invoice. He needs to physically file it, and then move it to the manager's desk for approval. And the manager, if he's not aware of the file waiting at his desk, obviously he won't approve it. And unless and until there's an escalation happening, the file will be there at the manager's desk. It's again a bottleneck. Now we will move on to the solution, that is CombiHybrid. So CombiHybrid is our solution offering. So here in the schema, I have considered an inbound invoice process. So basically, the supplier will be creating an invoice at the from the ERP at the supplier side, and immediately once the invoice has been created, it will be automatically identified and retrieved by CombiHybrid, and the incoming invoice will be processed and it will be sent to the customer's ERP. So I will, if you can just look at the schema, the supplier will be having 3 main channels through which the invoice can be sent to the customer. So coming to the first channel, so CombiHybrid will be having, or CombiHybrid do have web API connectors using which we can integrate with the supplier's existing ERP. So once the integration happens, whenever the supplier create a new invoice, it will be automatically identified, retrieved, processed, and sent to the customer. Now coming to the second channel, that's a web portal. So here, the suppliers will be able to use their credentials and access a web portal, and they'll be able to upload the invoices through this web portal. So once it has been done, it will be automatically retrieved and sent to the customer side by CombiHybrid. Now, coming to the third channel, that's a monitored or a supervised folder at the supplier side. So whenever the supplier uploads a document or an invoice to this folder, it will be automatically, identified, and it will be processed and sent to the customer. Please note that for implementing all these three channels, there's no technical prerequisite at the supplier side. We can just integrate our solution. Now, moving on to the next stage, that is CombiHybrid Gateway. So here, the supplier will be able to view the real-time status of the document that I have sent. Not only that, if the supplier is using a format, an invoice format, something like a machine-readable format, the supplier will be able to view the human-readable format through CombiHybrid Gateway. And also here, the supplier will be able to see the entire list of invoices that has been sent to the customer through this particular interface, so that he can, keep track of the invoices and the related status. Now we'll move on to the invoice processing stage. So this is where the actual digital document transformation happens. So if the incoming invoice needs to be changed to another format, or the layout of the incoming invoice needs to be changed, or if you want to change the invoice from a machine-readable format to human-readable format, or whatever be the, or vice versa, we can implement that process here. So once the document has been processed, it will be sent to the customer ERP. So here you can see that the end-to-end process after the invoice has been created at the supplier end, it has been automated, right? So it's basically 100% paperless process, and also there's no manual intervention. So basically, the customer will be receiving an invoice within minutes after the supplier has created the same in his ERP. So here, I want to explain how this particular solution caters to the bottlenecks that I have mentioned in the previous slide. So automating your accounts payable process means there won't be any manual data entry. So this means that there won't be any duplicate entries and there won't be any duplicate payments. And you can free up your accounts payable team members as well. And you'll be able to meet the regulatory standards. So if at all your internal requirement is that you need to convert the incoming invoice to a particular format, or you need to add some content like a QR code or barcode or whatever be it, or even you want to add or remove some part of the content, you can do that. The entire process will be automated. Automated workflows. I've already mentioned it in the previous slide. So if you want to send an incoming invoice to one of your AP team member for approval, the system or the solution automatically identifies or extracts the details from the incoming invoice, and it will identify the supplier, and based on which that particular document will be routed to the accounts payable team member, to that particular accounts payable team member. So that particular team member will be notified through an email that that this document is pending his approval, so that he can access the digital copy of the document. He can either approve it, reject it, or even furnish his e-signature. So through automation, the suppliers will be able to see the real-time status of the invoice that they have sent to the customer. So better transparency is there. Obviously, end-to-end automation means there's no manual intervention, and the entire process will be, error-free. Now we will move on to the demonstration. So before before going to the demonstration, I just want to show you the high-level process flow that is involved in this particular demo. So in the schema, you can see that the supplier will be creating an invoice from his ERP. So for the demo purpose, we are using SAP. Whatever be your ERP, CombiHybrid can be integrated using Web API connectors. So for this case, we are using SAP. So whenever an invoice is created in the SAP environment, it will be automatically uploaded to the CombiHybrid gateway, and the supplier will be able to see the machine-readable format along with the status of that particular invoice. After that, the document will be identified, it will be processed, and it will be sent to the customer's SAP system. And again, the SAP system we are using here, it's just for the demo purpose. Whatever be the ERP at the customer side, we can use that. So when the customer receives a new invoice in his or her ERP, the customer will be getting an email notification mentioning that the customer has received a new invoice, and you can log on to your ERP and you can just retrieve it and view the invoice. And also, please know that the demo that I'm about to show, it's a recorded version. So if at all you're interested in our solution, we can customize and we can prepare a real-time or a live demo using your own document. So we will start with the supplier's SAP environment. So here, the supplier will log on to his SAP system, and the supplier will create an invoice. So once the invoice has been created, it will be automatically uploaded to Comblio Gateway. So here, the supplier using his credentials, he'll log on to Comblio Gateway. So once the supplier has logged in, yeah, he'll be able to see all the invoices that he has prepared. And now the supplier will select the latest invoice. So this is the latest invoice. So as you can see, in the invoice, it's getting downloaded. Yeah. Here, the supplier will be able to see the invoice in a human readable format. And also please note that the actual HTML invoice that will be embedded onto the PDF. Here, the supplier can go through individual fields like the quantity, amount, etc., and make sure that it's correct before forwarding it to the customer. Here, the two XML file and the PDF file is cross-checked, and just to make sure that, yeah, it's just the same documents, only there's a difference in the format. So now you're seeing the customer environment, the SAP environment of the customer. So what happens is that once the supplier has created an invoice in the SAP portal, yeah, it will be automatically identified, it will be retrieved, processed, and sent to the customer's SAP system. And during this time, the customer will be receiving an email notification mentioning that, yeah, you have received a new invoice. So what you're watching in this particular screen, it's the customer retrieving the latest invoice. Here, the customer sort the list of invoices so that he can retrieve the required invoice. So this is the latest invoice. As you can see that all the fields will be auto-populated, and there will be an embedded PDF copy of the invoice attached to this particular to the SAP environment. And also you can just cross-check the purchase order number. So it will be same as what the supplier has generated through the supplier's SAP environment. So we have automated the end-to-end inbound invoice process. Now I will move on to the solution benefits. So automating your accounts payable process means there's no longer a requirement for manually entering the data to the ERP, right? So we'll be able to free up those accounts payable team members who used to manually enter all the details to the ERP, and as such, they can focus on high-value activities. Now, you'll be able to enhance your relationship with the customer because through automation, you'll be able to process the entire invoices well within the deadline. There won't be any you'll be able to meet the deadline, and there won't be any penalty imposed due to late payment. And also, the supplier will be having a web-based interface through which the supplier can monitor the status of that particular invoice. Now, different organizations will be having different AP processes, right? So it's something like, okay, some organizations, whenever you receive an incoming invoice, yeah, after reconciliation, the payment will be released. And for some other organizations, yeah, the incoming invoice need to go through, multiple levels of approval and signature, right? So whatever be your requirement, accounts payable process requirement, our solution can be customized to meet your business process. And coming to the next point, yeah, automation means you will be able to process large volumes of documents within a short timestamp. That means you will be able to process all the invoices well within the deadline. So you won't be imposed with a penalty for late payment. And also, if at all your supplier, provides something like an, early payment discount, yeah, you will be able to meet the deadline. Also, your DPO will be optimized, and which will make your cash flow efficient. Now, CombiHybrid can be seamlessly integrated with your existing ERP. So whatever be the technology stack. So we do have web API connectors. Along with that, if you're using, SAP or IBMI environment, yeah, we do have, standard connectors for SAP and IBMI. So we can integrate with your existing ERP without any disruptions. So it can happen within a day or two. The integration can happen within a day or two, and it won't be affecting the day-to-day activities in your, in your back office system. Now, I just want to give you an overview about Synthetix. So till date, we have worked with over 3.5K customers across different industry verticals and domains. So we are well aware of all our resources are well aware of the different business processes that are prevalent in different industries. And across the globe, we do have 7 offices with around 80 plus employees working across the entire offices. And on an average, we do have 12 years of customer loyalty. So we do get continuous business from our customers. And we have 3 technology partnerships, which I have given in the next slide. So we do have partnership with IBM, and we do have silver partnership with SAP, and we are a gold certified Microsoft partner as well. Now, here you can see some of our solution offerings. So we offer enterprise e-invoicing solution, signature solutions, which includes both e-signature and digital signature. We also offer EDI-ready solutions, and we are also into digital data and document transformation solutions. Towards the right, you can see a pictorial representation of our solution. Now we will move on to the QA session, and Janine has provided me with some questions, so I will just go through them one by one. So the first question is there any specific requirement at the supplier side, or how does the supplier interact with the new solution? So I think I have already answered this question in one of my slides. So there are no technical prerequisites at the supplier end. So web-based API integration or web API integration happens in the backend. So it won't affect any of the supplier's technical environment. And also the supplier can access the SaaS-based web application through a browser. So in short, yeah, there's no technical prerequisites. And I'm moving to the second question. So can you customize the invoice retrieval part alone, or does the solution only cater to end-to-end automation? So from the question, I got a feeling that you have automated a part of your AP process, and you are planning to automate the remaining part, right? So just to give an example, using our solution, you can either go for the, you can automate either your, the accounts of the document retrieval part from your supplier, or you can even, automate the digital document transformation part, or else you can even automate, the document, workflow part, like basically the approval and the signature part. So whatever be your requirement, our solution can be customized to meet your requirement. So I think I answered your question. And the next question is that can the solution prevent fraudulent transaction? Yes, it's one of the advantages of automating your AP process. So when you receive an incoming invoice, you can send it to multiple users. Yeah, obviously you can automate that process. You can send it to your manager, your head of department, whoever it is. So that invoice will go through multiple levels of authentications and approval, so that you can make sure that the invoice has been thoroughly monitored and all the facts and figures inside the invoice, it's correct before releasing the payment. And also for any user to access the digital copy of the document, you need to go through a 2-factor authentication. That's again an enhanced security aspect. And also the solution can be integrated with your internal security application or your Active Directory, whatever be it. This making the entire process secure. And also all the documents do come with something known as a proof file, which captures the entire transaction that has happened, like the timestamp, the the system ID, and also the geographical the geotag or whatever be it. All the information will be captured. so that if at all someone tries to forge or damage the document, yeah, obviously the admin can check the log and he will be able to trace that. Suppose if you are dealing with a mission critical process, we can go for more secured or we can go for more security aspects like, okay, digital certificate or go for a digital signature, whatever be it. Now, looking for a relevant question. So how do you extract data from the incoming invoices? Is it through OCR? So we use basically we use a combination of AI and machine learning capabilities to retrieve data from the incoming invoices, and also we go for services, Azure services like Azure Forms Recognizer, using which the extraction, the confidence level of the extraction can be as high as 99.9%. So just for reference, the confidence score, it's a value that quantifies the accuracy of data extraction. So here I've got some more questions remaining, but I can see that we are running out of the allocated time. So obviously I will contact you with the response through email. So I will just move on to the next slide. Okay. So if you want to customize or if you want to automate your accounts payable process, or if you want to know more regarding the solution offering, you can always contact me. I have given my contact details here. I've given my mobile number, my email address, and also you can connect with me through LinkedIn as well. So that's all. I think we'll wind up the session now. So before that, yeah, thanks a lot for attending the session, and we'll be uploading a recorded version of this webinar in YouTube as well. And if you want, we can send you this particular deck as well. So once again, thanks for my colleagues Omalade and Janine for supporting me. So thank you and have a nice day.